to Illuminate, Navigate, Radiate. Coming back on another Friday morning with our second wellness challenge of the month. Got Michael here again. How you doing today, Michael?
Doing great. Always a pleasure to be on. Appreciate you having me.
Oh yeah, man, and appreciate, that's what we kind of just hit on with the last well-being challenge, and gratitude. Hopefully you were able to express some gratitude to somebody that meant a lot to you. Hopefully you were able to just focus on that a little bit, to bring some more positivity into your life. And hopefully that made at least a little bit of a difference if you intentionally try to practice that this past week. So this week we're coming at you with a physical activity challenge. And I know that can sound daunting at times, physical activity. I know for me, feeling a little out of shape right now. So it sounds a little daunting at times to me as well. So you're not alone in that. But we're not even challenging you to do a whole lot. But I know when it comes to my mental health and how I'm feeling about myself, when I am more active, when I'm doing something that gets me up off the couch, when I'm doing something that gets me outside, when I'm doing something that just gets me moving more in my life than I usually would be, I usually feel a little bit to a lot better about myself. What do you think of that, Michael?
Yeah, I would have to 100% agree. And I'll also say that it is not always easy to get out and go. And while you know how good it can feel, that doesn't always make you want to go do it. And I know that's why this challenge is so important for not just everybody that's watching, but for me and Brandon as well. We want to try to be a little better in this department ourselves, which is why we chose this for this week, because while my face might show it a little bit, I am not a spring chicken, and I'm, need to take some serious thought into becoming a little bit more active. So I think the more you're active, the better you feel. And, it really opens up your brain and the blood flow to your brain so you can actually engage on a more positive level, whether it's your mood or otherwise. But I'd have to agree. The more you get out, even if it's just a simple walk, the better you're going to feel 100%.
Yeah, and I like that you said that because it's definitely not always easy to do. It always sounds good. It always sounds good to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start lifting tonight, or I'm gonna go on a little jog, or I'm gonna go on a little run, or even just go out on a little walk sometimes. And then I say that when I get off work, and then I say that about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then it's too late. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And you keep pushing it off to eventually where you just got that great excuse of why it can't happen today. So that is why we want to do this as as one of the wellness challenges, because it can really do, like Michael was just hitting on, it can do a lot for, your brain chemistry, your outlook on life, your outlook on yourself. And just when you're a little more active, you get that blood flowing. It can bring a lot of positivity. And I know one thing that we've been doing now it's getting a little bit warmer out is, just going on a family walk. We just did that earlier. And having that, that ability to be outside, where it's nice or a little bit warmer, not a whole, not super warm here in Michigan yet, but, seeing the kids run and me and my wife are moving and I'm moving, especially. It's something really simple. It's just a little walk around the block, but afterwards, in doing it is always a better moment than sitting on the couch and watching the TV.
Yeah, I know that sometimes we'd rather watch the show on TV, even though we know as much as we know about how good exercise can be and is for the body. Yeah, we have to really take a conscious effort in the form of making this something that we want to do on a daily basis, and a challenge like this can really help spark that for you. You do want something, go for a walk every day this week. You might be more motivated and encouraged to do it again the next week, and maybe go for a run the week after that, and slowly start to build up. And for me, walking is going to be the first step, because as much as I'd like to say that I was a former college athlete, played 4 years and could run forever, I'll tell you right now, if I went out and ran like that, I would probably fall over, collapse, and need to be resuscitated. I know that sounds crazy, but my heart would not take it. So start small. If that's how you have to start, like I'm going to go on walks once a day, maybe near the end of the week, if I can fit one in the morning and one in the night, I'll double up or maybe go for a jog. But I say that that's something that I know in my personal life I haven't hit on. So if you're similar to me and or Brandon, where you just don't get out as much as you know you should, you're physically able to do so. That's what we challenge you to do: is act on your ability to go outside and go for a walk or ride your bike if you have a bike. Maybe you like swimming, go to the pool and get some swimming in. I know that that's sometimes just as enjoyable, and you're still getting good exercise. So whatever it is for you, focus on what you know you can do and try it. See what you're capable of, maybe beyond what you think you are.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm right there with you. If I went and tried to jog right now, I'd make it to the end of the driveway. I'd be out, not being able to catch my breath anymore. So I'm right there with you. And I know sometimes, like, for me, it can be challenging, finding that moment to do it. Right. I know personally, I'm probably not going to get up before work and do it. I mean, that's a goal I could set eventually down the line, but right now, I know it's probably going to be more open after work. Get the kids outside as well. Get the kids moving as well when one of ours get out of school. So sometimes I gotta make sure that I stay active too when I get home from work. I work in a school right now, so I am moving a lot. I am involved a lot. And sometimes I just want to get home and sit down. But if I sit down right after work for that 10-15 minute, break that I'm telling myself I'm about to take, I don't move for a little bit longer than that. So I'd even just staying active by doing the dishes, doing a little bit of cleaning around the house, do something right away that keeps me moving, and keeps me, from just hitting that mental block of laying on my couch, sitting in my recliner, or jumping in the bed a little early, and that just causes me to kind of crash from that moment on.
Yeah, and it's easy to do that, whether it's just a show you've been watching with, your significant other or even yourself that you're catching up on, or it's just simply 8 hour, 10 hour day and you just don't think you have the energy to do anything besides what you've been doing, which is grab some food and, hit the couch or hit the bed. It's a very common practice. I'm guilty of it as well, and I know that that's something that I'm going to strive to really focus on this week for this challenge specifically, because like Brandon just said, it's not necessarily having to go for a run or a jog or a walk. It can be just staying active within the house if you know things need to be done, whether it's making sure the dishes are done. If you do have kids and you're playing with them, moving around and watching them, maybe they want to go outside themselves and you're just out there with them. Even just standing up is better than sitting down and laying down. So that's where you have to start. That's okay. But let's focus on trying to do something more than what we have been, if what we have been doing is hitting the couch, Netflix, chill, popcorn, and then repeat every night.
Yeah, and it can be a lot of different things. I really like that you threw out like the swimming. If you like to shoot hoops, just go in the driveway, shoot some hoops. Kicking a soccer ball around, juggling a ball. Obviously, both of us being soccer players, I know found a lot of time doing that growing up, and just really enjoying that moment of having a ball at my feet. Makes it that like forces me to move, because I can't just have a ball at my feet. I got to do a little move with it, or a little trick. And Michael was known for his fancy feet, so I know he pulls out some moves. Yoga, if you're into that, that can be a really good practice. Yoga, Pilates, those type of things. I know I was on a fitness kick once in my life, and was doing that one of them 90-day videos. I can't think of what it's called right now. But it was like 30 minutes a day, and some of the best days was that yoga day, and just getting a really good stretch, and like kind of like a relaxing workout almost, and it was something that did a lot of good for just like how I felt about myself. And that's why, we wanna encourage you to try this challenge out again, even if it's something really small, because that physical activity does play a big part, at times, in how we feel mentally, obviously physically, but mentally I've always seen is more important to my working out than even just the physical aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that's where sometimes we don't realize how significant and how beneficial some type of physical activity every day can be, beyond just making sure that our blood flows and gets to our muscles. The biggest muscle that we need to worry about is our brain, and that's where all of our mental issues that we have on our mental health is housed. And, without that type of physical activity, we can't tap into the ability to heal that type of thing if we're going through things, or it keeps our mind closed off to remedy and help and healing. But by opening up that door and allowing yourself to do something a little bit more physically demanding than you have been, it does release that neurotransmitter that allows you to feel good, feel better. Endorphins are released, and you've actually, okay, cool. My body was almost designed to be in a state of happiness by enjoying getting out and getting around. I can only imagine, what people were like before couches were even invented. We might have, must have been the happiest people on the planet. You know what I mean? So that's where I see so much value in taking this so seriously, but having fun with it at the same time, because you can definitely get a lot out of it. And you might just realize how much more pleasant you may be than you thought you would be, or than you thought you already were, by just doing something a little bit more than you have been.
Yeah, and the other aspect of it, I think, it can also help you get out some of those negative emotions, right? Maybe, maybe that hard run or that hard sprint will help release some of that tension that you've been building up, or if you're more into the boxing thing, or anything like that, just to release some tension, get some of that negative energy flowing out of you, release that frustration that can build up throughout a day. I know soccer, that was a huge thing for me, is besides drugs, soccer was the positive thing of how I got my emotions out and how I dealt with my emotions. I was one way, off the field, and then I felt like I was a whole different person when I stepped on the field, because it was just my release of everything that I had building up inside of me, and I could be free in that moment. And so, a lot of different ways that that physical activity can help your well-being, whether it's just helping you feel good for the day, whether it's getting you back into shape, whether it's releasing that tension, those frustrations. That's why we want to push you to try out this physical challenge. And if you have any ideas, or if you have any suggestions for what people could do, drop those in the comments as well, or something that you specifically like doing that maybe we didn't mention. I know there's a lot of different ways that people practice that physical activity, and I think that's always a really cool thing to hear, is the variety that we can actually have when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, there's so much more to do than we could list in an hour-long video. That's what's so cool about being active. It's not specific to just being a runner, or just being a swimmer, or just being a biker. It's anything that you can do that could be simple aerobics. There's a few other things I know that calisthenics is, something that I tried for a while, that actually works the body in a way where you don't have to do too much work, but you can still work out the body. And that, every time that I've ever worked out, or, playing soccer was a great example, because while it wasn't necessarily the same as your experience, Brandon, it was similar for me though, because I wasn't necessarily escaping from anything, but when I was on the field, I felt as alive as I ever was, more than I could be just having a good time, being with friends, running on the field, scoring a goal, setting it up, just the whole play. That type of thing just was more than I could really put into words, and why I think I was so drawn to keep wanting to play and keep getting better. And, we challenge you to maybe try to find something that drives you in that way. It may not be something so easily as it was for me playing soccer, but it could just be as simple as going to the park and, you know, looking at the birds fly, and then, you're out and about. It could just be something simple that you never really thought was too serious or too fun, but it actually gets you in a good state of mind and allows you to think positively. Like you said, shed some negativity and some of those negative thoughts that we just don't sometimes realize are in our thoughts, because we're just cooped up inside all day. We just think everything's fine. Get out there, have some fun, just enjoy life. I think take that approach and you'll have a lot easier time getting yourself up that first day off the couch and really trying to do something more or something different than you have been.
Yeah, and if you don't get it done today, going back to our conversation on Wednesday, embrace that failure, and say, okay, I didn't get it done today, but I can try again tomorrow. And so The only thing, and I would love to count this because that means I would do it every day, is the only thing that probably doesn't count is lifting that fork or that hand from the chip bag to your mouth. That I would love to count that, but let's try to make sure we're doing a little bit more moving and having that flow to our body and that activity for the week. So again, get out there, try to be active in the simplest way or most complicated way, wherever you're at on that scale of being active at this point in your life. If you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. Let's encourage. If you just got some encouraging words for somebody that's checking us out or that you want to encourage as well, throw those down there. But let's tackle this next week and be active. And do it in a physical way this time, as opposed to expressing that gratitude. Let's be a little more physical for this next week. You got anything you wanna end with there, Michael? Throw back out to the people.
To the people, all I would say is, if you're feeling like you're not sure, but you watch this video, maybe pull it up again and just watch through a few minutes. See if that doesn't help you. Maybe just get out and go. And we challenge you to leave a comment every day. I went for a walk today. It was great. Or, I forced myself to get out, but afterwards I felt great. Whatever it was that you did, feel free to comment each day that you did it, and we'll keep up with you as well. Maybe we can chart this type of growth together, because physical activity is not an easy one, but when you have people to do it with, it's crazy how much easier it becomes. So that's what I'll say to everybody out there. Find someone that maybe will go with you or that you can bring along with you. And if you can't, do your best, and like you said, it's not the end of the world if you didn't do it today. Let's try better tomorrow.
100%. So get out there, be active, share that journey and experience with us. And again, this has been Illuminate, Navigate, Radiate. Have a great rest of your day.